Welcome to Chandwell.
My name is Sita.
Our family have been serving the finest taste of India on Station Road since 1987. Located near the railway pub, join my family and me for all of your favorite dishes as well as our famous Hyderabadi Tandoori chicken biryani for the truly authentic experience.
You will want to try everything on our menu, but remember to leave space for our twist on Chandwell classic, sweet mango turpin.
We are open from 5 until 8 every day except Tuesdays. We offer 10% discount on takeaways.
Drop in or phone Chandwell 866 800. See you soon down at the Jasmine Station Road, Chandwell. Signing off, yours Sita.
Welcome to Chandwell. My name's Michael, and as you've just seen, I finished the frontage of this Indian restaurant, which is going to go at the front of my model of a rundown West Yorkshire town set in 1993. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how I went about making this frontage, which, because it's N scale, is very, very small. Before we get into any of that though, let's hear from the Visit Chandwell Tourist Board and Chandwell's favourite celebrity, Britney Scroggins.
Jasmine Tandoori was opened in 1987 in the old laundrette at the bottom of Station Road. It's a family-run business and you will always get a warm welcome from Sita and her boys. Sita's own recipe, Hyderabadi Tandoori chicken biryani, is already famous throughout Chandwell and you would be hard pushed to find better in town.
The frontage goes along two sides of the building and across the diagonal corner. I decided that I would fold the components around the corner rather than make them separately. The base would be made from 1mm card, and then the plinth and signage would be made from two further layers of 0.5mm card. I drew these around the building's plan so that I could work out the correct dimensions of the parts. Each part would need to be slightly longer than the one below it to account for the increasing radius. With the base layer printed onto sticky label, I stuck it onto 1mm card, and I used my big knife to cut out the shape, and then the scalpel to do the finer bits. Once cut, I used my scalpel to score down the fold lines. It's important to go far enough through so that the card folds cleanly, but not all the way through so that it falls apart. Many light strokes is the way to go. That looks about right. Yes, this fits just right.
With Tika to Ride on the other side of the street, up near the station, there are two curry houses on Station Road. The Jazz is by far the more upmarket of the pair. It's open till late every night except Tuesdays, so whether you've had a few in the Weir, Railway, Nag's Head or the Red Lion, it's always welcoming you at the end of your evening.
Next came the sign components and the plinth. These stuck onto 0.5mm card, which is much easier to cut. The sign is made from two parts, one slightly smaller than the other. I decided to use my magnetic mates, which I got from York Model Making, and construct the whole frontage separately from the main building. Here are the parts that I will need first.
The Jazz does not sell alcohol, but you're welcome to bring your own. In fact, Old Ron, the landlord of the railway for the past 40 years, is more than happy for you to take a couple of pints of Foxton's Best up with you. Just promise to return the glasses afterwards.
The stone columns are made from Scalescenes dressed stone texture. The rectangular recess is really simple to do. I draw a rectangle in the right place with an outline and mid-colour. I set its blend mode to multiply and its transparency to 62%. This darkens the texture underneath it. I duplicate this rectangle and move it down and to the right. This one becomes white with a blend mode of soft light, and I make it 80% opaque. This lightens the texture under it. Finally, duplicated again and moved up and to the left, this one is black, 40% opaque, and has a blend mode of soft light. Close up, it looks weird, but zoom out and it looks just like an engraved recess in the stone. I cut slits to help me score. Score, cut, fold, glue, and stick the piece around the base frontage from earlier. With the piece not yet on the building, it's easy to apply glue and tightly wrap the flaps around the sides to make it look nice and solid. The rear part of the sign comes next. I cut this from the photo paper, score and fold. I then fold over the top and bottom to create a wrap. So that I don't end up with bubbles or creases, it's important to fit it to its base whilst in the correct shape. I apply glue and then use a scale model scenery right-angled jig to hold the pieces in shape as I stick them together. A clamp helps while I smooth it all down. With that done, I can attach it with PVA glue to the base layer in its right-angle magnetic clamps. I designed the signage in Inkscape. My first attempt was an understated affair in muted purples, but it has the feel of an upmarket 21st century place, not a run-down cheap and nasty Yorkshire one from 1993. So with a few adjustments in font, size and colour, we have Jasmine Tandoori, and I think we have something more fitting to the layout. Once stuck to its base, I used simple watercolour paints to add colour to the card edges and make the sign look solid. This simple step makes such a difference. This is covered in PVA and stuck to the frontage. A quick test fit shows that I'm on the right lines. I had a little fillet of card to fill in the recess in the corner's frontage. And since it wasn't quite enough, I added another one directly to the building. Once satisfied that it was all going to fit, I applied PVA directly to the building on both sides, and then dropped it into position. I took care to use the stonework's pointing to keep it level, and I removed splodges of PVA as I went. Super! Just the plinth to do now.
The Jasmine is in what used to be the Brewery Tower of the old Foxton's brewery. The upper floors were converted into flats a couple of years ago. If you're interested in sweeping views of the station and the beautiful architecture of Riding's house, I just happen to know that one may be coming to let in the next few weeks. Be sure to keep an eye out.
The frontage is made up of many different layers of card, from the glazing to the edge of the plinth. I knew all of the dimensions as I had them on the drawing, so I printed a couple of bits of texture in the right size and shape. Cut them, and then, with luck, they should just slot straight on here. Perfect! I glued them along the short edge first, and then left the glue to go off for a few minutes. I could then add glue underneath, and fold the plinth down into position. The outer part of the plinth glued on top of that to add one final layer of detail. This use of layers really adds a solid 3D feel to the building, and I'm really pleased that I put the interior in at the start because it really looks superb. You can't tell that I haven't modelled any chairs, so you don't need to let Sita know that someone's stolen them all. Speaking of Sita and Britney, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. They're both big fans of the channel, and I think 1,000 likes would be a great way to say thank you for all of the time that they've spent making this daft video with me. Next week I'm going to show you the roof and all the extra complicated little details that I added, but before then, let's hear one more word from Britney. So until next week, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.
Right, that's me done. It's late and I'm starving. I'm off to the Jazz for one of those biryanis. See you later.